The American Dream. It's a tale spun for generations, a story deeply embedded in the fabric of our nation. Work hard, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, and you can achieve anything. This mantra has been the cornerstone of the American ethos. You too can have the white picket fence, the two-car garage, and the golden retriever. It's the quintessential image of success. But let's be honest, for many Americans today, that dream feels more like a distant, fading mirage. The promises seem hollow. The reality is harsher, the climb steeper, and the promised land, it seems almost unreachable. Well, it feels a lot further away than it used to. The gap between aspiration and reality has widened. We're told America is the land of opportunity, a place where dreams come true, a place where anyone can become anything. But is that really the case anymore? What happens when the playing field is rigged from the start, when the odds are stacked against you, when the zip code you're born in has more impact on your future than your work ethic? It's a sobering reality. The American dream shouldn't be a lottery ticket. It shouldn't be left to chance. It shouldn't be a privilege reserved for the few. It should be accessible to all. It needs a reality check. We need to reassess what the American dream means today. It's time to face the truth. The dream is in jeopardy. The American dream, as we once knew it, is gasping for air. It's struggling to survive. It's being crushed under the weight of inequality, greed, and a system that seems designed to keep the little guy down. The disparity is glaring. We need to stop pretending everything is hunky-dory and start having some real conversations about what's broken and how to fix it. It's time for action. The future of this country depends on it. We owe it to ourselves and future generations to revive the dream. America loves to boast about freedom. It's practically sewn into the flag. But scratch beneath the surface and you'll find a different story. The truth is, freedom in America often comes with a hefty price tag. Want to get a decent education? Be prepared to drown in student loan debt before you even start your career. Need healthcare? Get ready to empty your pockets and pray you don't get really sick. Want to exercise your right to free speech? Just make sure it doesn't upset the wrong corporation or politician. The irony is the very things that should be basic rights, education, healthcare, a voice in your government, are often the things that cost the most. And for who? For the average American just trying to make ends meet, the price of freedom can be downright backbreaking. We're told education is the key to success, the golden ticket to a prosperous future, but in America it often feels more like a key to a lifetime of debt, a burden that weighs heavily on the shoulders of our youth. College costs are skyrocketing and student loans have become a national crisis, affecting millions of families across the country. We're sending our young people out into the world saddled with mountains of debt before they've even had a chance to start their lives, to dream, to innovate. How can we expect our youth to innovate, to start businesses, to contribute to society when they're busy working multiple jobs just to pay off interest on loans they took out when they were 18? The pressure is immense, and the toll on mental health is significant. Something's seriously wrong when getting an education feels more like a financial gamble than a path to a brighter future. The dream of higher education has turned into a nightmare for many. It's time to stop treating education like a commodity and start treating it like a right. We need to rethink our priorities and invest in our future. Every American deserves access to quality, affordable education without having to mortgage their future. Education should empower, not impoverish. Investing in our people shouldn't mean bankrupting them. It's time for a change, for a system that values education as a public good, not a private burden. Here's a fun fact. America is the only developed country in the world without universal health care. Let that sink in for a minute. In the land of the free, we've somehow managed to create a system where getting sick can lead to financial ruin. Think about it. You break a bone, you have a heart attack, your child gets diagnosed with a chronic illness, and suddenly you're facing mountains of medical bills that could bankrupt you. It's a cruel system that forces people to choose between their health and their financial well-being. It's time to ditch the myth that healthcare is a privilege and embrace the reality that it's a right. Every American deserves access to quality, affordable healthcare without having to worry about going broke in the process. Our health should be our priority, not a profit margin for insurance companies. The Section 5, the American hustle, work till you drop. America loves to celebrate the hustle, the grind, the idea that you have to work yourself to the bone to achieve success. But at what cost? Americans work longer hours than any other developed nation, and many are living paycheck to paycheck with little to no time for family, friends, or even just a moment to breathe. We've created a culture that glorifies overwork and undervalues rest and relaxation. We're constantly told we need to be on, constantly striving, constantly proving ourselves. Is it any wonder so many Americans are stressed, burnt out, and feeling utterly depleted? It's time to reevaluate our priorities. We need to create a culture that values work-life balance, that allows people to thrive both professionally and personally. We need to stop glorifying the hustle and start prioritizing our well-being. Section 6. The rich get richer. Income inequality in the land of opportunity. America prides itself on being a land of opportunity, a place where anyone can achieve their dreams with hard work and determination. But the reality is starkly different. The gap between the rich and the poor has been widening for decades, creating a chasm that seems almost impossible to bridge. The top 1% are hoarding more wealth than ever before, living lives of unimaginable luxury and comfort, while millions of Americans are struggling to make ends meet, often working multiple jobs just to put food on the table and keep a roof over their heads. This isn't just unfair, it's unsustainable. The growing economic divide is a ticking time bomb that threatens the very fabric of our society. When such a small percentage of the population controls so much wealth, it creates a ripple effect that hurts everyone, not just those at the bottom. It leads to depressed local economies, shuttered businesses, and communities that struggle to survive. It stifles economic growth, undermines democracy, and fuels social unrest. The anger and frustration of those left behind can no longer be ignored. It's time to address the systemic issues that perpetuate this inequality. We need comprehensive reforms that tackle the root causes of this divide. We need to invest in policies that promote economic fairness, ensuring that everyone has a fair shot at success. This includes raising the minimum wage, strengthening unions to protect workers' rights, and closing tax loopholes that benefit the wealthy at the expense of everyone else. These changes are not just necessary, they are urgent. We need to create an economy that works for everyone, not just those at the very top. Only then can we truly call ourselves the land of opportunity. Section 7. The right to bear arms. America's deadly obsession. America has a unique and tragic relationship with guns. We experience more gun violence than any other developed country, yet we seem unable or unwilling to have a rational conversation about gun control. Mass shootings have become so commonplace that they barely register as news anymore. How many more innocent lives need to be lost before we finally say enough is enough? The right to own a gun should not supersede the right to live in a safe society. It's time to stop treating gun violence as an unsolvable problem and start demanding common-sense gun control measures. We need stricter background checks, a ban on assault weapons, and a culture that prioritizes responsible gun ownership over blind adherence to the Second Amendment. Section 8. The political circus where democracy goes to die. Our political system is supposed to represent the will of the people, but somewhere along the way it's become a rigged game that favors special interests and wealthy donors over the needs of everyday Americans. Politicians are more interested in scoring political points than solving real problems. Gerrymandering and voter suppression tactics are rampant, making it harder for people to have their voices heard. It's time to reclaim our democracy from the clutches of corporate lobbyists and career politicians. We need campaign finance reform, fair voting districts, and a renewed commitment to putting the needs of the people first. Section 9. The myth of the greatest country facing the harsh realities. America loves to call itself the greatest country in the world. But when you look at the state of our healthcare system, our education system, our political system, and our economy, it's hard to understand why. The truth is, America has some serious problems, and pretending everything is fine is only going to make things worse. It's time to stop clinging to this outdated notion of American exceptionalism and start facing our challenges head-on. We need to acknowledge our flaws, have some uncomfortable conversations, and be willing to fight for a better future. The American dream shouldn't be a distant fantasy. It should be a reality within reach for everyone. We can do better, America. But first, we need to admit that we have a problem.